Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of Golden Droplets. And today we're going to be talking about references, how to deal with them, how to control them, how to work with them, at least how I do it. And let's start by sharing my screen. So, dealing with reference. We're going to talk today about Mendeley, Kika, red cubes, and other types of software that I use to work with reference. We have reference everywhere. And when you read a scientific article, there will be hundreds of references at the end. Even in technical report like 43101, you need to have some reference. And dealing with reference is a long process. You need to be sure that every reference that you put in the text will be in the list of references, that the format is correct, that the dates are correct, etc., etc. So doing this by hand is pretty laborious. And there are several software available. I will introduce 4 of them, but I will be talking about 2, the ones that I use the most. First one is Mendeley. Mendeley, you can download it for free at mendeley.com. And this is the one that I will explain in more detail today. The next one is Kika. Kika, again, www.kika.com. And I recommend you to download these 2 software and have it in your computer. There are a lot of videos at YouTube explaining the different options that this software gives you. And I also recommend, of course, that you train yourself with this. Kika will be the main subject of the episode number 4 of Golden Droplets. The other 2 systems that are very useful, one of them is RedCube. Again, that's the website down there. And RedCube has a very good option that it learns from what you read. I mean, when you are reading with RedCube, the system understands what kind of literature are you looking for and automatically looks on the internet for similar text. So whenever you open RedCube, there will be some suggestions for you. And the first one of this system was Zotero. And of course, because it was the first one, now it's the oldest one. I don't use these 2 anymore because the first 2, the Mendeley and Kika, are, from my understanding, the best. So let's see how Mendeley looks like. So this is how the screen of Mendeley works. So when you open it, you need your email and a password. You register for free. Everything that you have in your computer will be in the cloud too, which means that you can access your literature or your reference anywhere that has a connection to the internet, which is extremely good. You can add any kind of documentation, Word, PDF, PowerPoints. You can add everything. And there are several ways of adding the resources. You can add a file, you can add a folder. If you have a folder full of PDF, you can add it in one way. You can define a watch folder, which is what I do. You create a folder, for example, I call it to read soon. And everything that I find on the internet, all the PDF stuff that I will like to read, I just save it there. And every time I open Mendeley or Kika, they automatically will go to this folder, see if there is something new, and put it in my Mendeley or Kika. And you can also add the entry manually, which is what you see here. It will ask you if it is a book, if it is a journal, what year, all the information, and you can add it manually. You can also import or export your database if you want to, send your list of literature to one of your colleagues or a student or something like that. You can export all the literature as a different type of files, and the other person can import it. And of course, you have the synchronization. As I said, it's every time you open, it will synchronize with the cloud. The structure of this thing at the left, you have like your file cabinet, and you can create as many folders as you want. The computer, the software has all the documents recently added, recently read, favorite. These are defaults, but these are the ones that you yourself create and just use it to grab the information that you want. Okay, you can filter your books by authors, or by tags, or by the publication, etc. To the right, you have a quick review of the metadata of your article. For example, I'm looking here, let's say this book here. Okay, Emeralds in the Eastern Cordillera. These are the authors, the journal is geology, the year, an abstract, the URL where you can download this thing, the DOI, the ISSN, and of course the file. If I click on the file, I can actually read the paper. And you have many options while reading. You can highlight, okay, this is interesting. So you highlight it, and you can change, of course, the color of the highlight. You say, let's highlight this in green. You can also put a note associated to something, and then all these notes are going to be available for you. So the way I work, I do not mark too much, but I do a lot of notes. Every time I see something, it's like I'm doing an extract of the useful information from this article and just write notes, 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 notes. At the end, I can see all my notes and go back to the original document. Talking about Kika, Kika is the program that I will explain next week, is much more strong, useful for this kind of working with documents. But I use Mendeley mostly to do my reference one while working with Word documents. And I will explain you why. So this is the Mendeley. You can, as I said, you can read, you can copy some images, etc., etc., and especially you can make notes. Now, when you are in the internet, let's say, you need to have this little icon here, which is Mendeley Web Importer. This icon allows you, anytime you find an article online, you click on this little icon and it will grab the information from the article that you just found on the internet save it on Mendeley, and next time you open your Mendeley desktop, it will synchronize. Where do you get this little icon? Actually, right here in the Mendeley, under tools, you can install the web importer, and also you need to install the MS Word plugin. And this is the plugin that will allow you to use Mendeley to insert references in your document. And this is between comparing Mendeley with Kika, Mendeley is much better to do this thing, to just include a reference in your text and making a bibliography. I will show you how this is done. But go to Tool and install both the Web Importer and the Microsoft Word plugin. So another one that you may want to have is Copernio. And you get this from the Google Chrome store, Copernio. I'm gonna open in a new place. Let's put, for example, Columbia Geology. And Copernio will quickly search all the citations and papers and PDF and etc. that is on this subject. Now, once you have all this list of things, you can click on the little icon of Mendeley. It's asking me to sign in. Okay. And it will find all the citations and PDF and Word right here. And you just need to click which one you want. For example, I am interested in this one and in this one. You know, you just select which one you want. You select in which library you want to save it. So I think I have a file for Columbia Geology. Okay, so you save it there. And when you're ready, you just click Add. One of the important thing is that if the paper is not only a citation, it also have a PDF, Mendeley will save both the PDF and the citation. So you just click Add, and that's it. It will add those to Mendeley. And this is in your cloud selection. So to work on a desktop, you need to wait for this to finish. Then you will come, you open your desktop, you click on synchronization, and it will get those two articles into your library. Let's wait a little bit for it to finish. So it finished. So now, which one? Cordillera. Okay. So now if I go here to my home page, and recently added, there is nothing there because I haven't done the synchronization. So I click on synchronize, and it will retrieve these two articles. And of course, it will be saved under Columbia Geology. Those are the two. One of them has a PDF. So this is how easy it is to work with Mendeley, finding literature. You can also just, if you have a PDF in your computer, you can just click and drag. As I said, the best way of doing this thing is to have a folder called To Read Soon and save there all the papers and documents that you want to later import into Mendeley. Or the other way is by using the combination of Copernio to find the literature, and then just click the Mendeley. Now, how does this work in a document? Let's assume that we have this paper, and I just put here places where I need to put some reference. Okay, so because I have installed the plugin, I'm going to create this now, because now that is where I'm going to put my first reference. You click on references, and you will see here the Mendeley insert data. One thing that I forgot to mention is you need to select the style. So you have like 60 styles. Usually in geology, we use the American Psychology Association, the APA, 6th edition. But some journals, like for example, Chemical Geology, will have their own typical way of formatting. So you can select which style is the one that you're gonna use for your formatting. And of course, if you're presenting the paper into another system that requires a different formatting, you just need to click here to change the system, and it will automatically do it. It's very, very simple. So let's say that I'm going to add a reference here. So I click insert the caption, and I start typing or the name or the title or whatever. Let's assume I'm looking for this one. So I click there and I just add OK. So I have already the citation there. And here in reference 2, I will have 2 authors. So let's say, so it will be this one, and then it will be this one. So we have 2, click OK, and it just adds the thing. And the last one here, I will add, let's say, by title mineralogy. Okay, and that's it. So we have already entered our reference. Now we need to type the bibliography, or actually a list of references. So we type references. And just with one click here, insert bibliography or references, you have your bibliography completely done. And again, as I said, it's very easy to change the system of references. So this is how I use Mendeley. I do suggest you look at some of the YouTube videos. They explain in more details how to work with reading documents, etc., etc. But again, this is a webcast of how I use this thing. For me, Mendeley is the easiest way to generate a list of reference in a document. So I do have a full synchronization between Kika and Mendeley. Mendeley I use, as I said, writing a report, adding the reference. For reading, studying, extracting information, and all that, I use Kika, which will be the subject of our next video chat, which I hope will be next week by Friday. Again, this is Ricardo Valls at vallsvg@gmail.com, a PGL from Toronto with over 36 years of international experience. I will appreciate if you can subscribe to this channel. If we get to 1,000 subscribers, then we can do these things live, which will be much interest because I could even answer some of your questions that you may have. Again, thank you very much and see you next week.